Welcome to this look at a stunning new mod map on Farming Simulator 22 with me, MrSealyp. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm on Grasslands 22. This is a new mod map out on Farming Simulator 22 from Steve's Mods, 534.44 megabytes download. This has been ported over from his previous version on FS19. There are no required mods to download. There's nothing under build mode over and above, well, what we've got. There's a lot of custom stuff. It is custom in the lists, new wind effects, custom lighting and colour grading, animated objects across the map, which we'll see as we go around, custom textures, custom traffic, new models from Oxygen David, HD models. We've got seasonal visuals and random events. There are 100 collectibles. You'll see those. They're everywhere. You can't avoid them. Highly customisable UK licence plates built into the map, custom foliage and ground textures, custom sounds, as you can hear, and you'll hear more as you go around. I think at one point an owl kind of flew past. It sounded like it flew past, but this was incredible. We have some additional crop types. Contracts are available. The crop types in addition are linseed, rye, field bean and alfalfa. We'll have a look at what you need to put those into the ground and what you take them out of the ground with in just a moment. It does also, there's a new plough texture as well, so plenty of new stuff going on. Now, it's not without its problems. I'm sure it's going to get an update. There's a couple of clunky bits here and there. I talk about clunky bits. I talk about clunky stuff on map tours all the time. There's a couple of bits that are probably going to need an update, I would imagine. And you'll see when we go around, they're glaringly obvious. So it's that thing of you'll think, well, yeah, you know, sometimes you get floating trees and things like that, and maps get updates. That's the way it works. But I have to say this, the overriding feeling as I'm going around this is a UK-based map. And I just want to get in the van and drive out into the countryside. It's already given me that vibe, you know. It looks stunning as you look across the map and stuff like that. So any of the minor little bits that I think might require an update is overridden by the fact the map looks superb. So let's have a look at the map itself then. This is the map. This is what we start with on New Farmer. We start with the farm area, plot 2, 209,544. There's a couple of other plots. I have put some money in already. I'm on New Farmer, so you start with 100,000. We have verges on the map. So if we click on, which bit do I need to click on? There was a bit. Oh, it's here, wasn't it? Oh, it doesn't matter. You can click on it. There you go. The verges are 0, so farmland 1 you can buy. But here's the interesting thing, which doesn't often happen on the verges, the periphery. If we look here, we're already showing the horses icon there, and that's on that bit, as you can see. So you can buy that bit of land if you want to add stuff in for if you're going to run the horses. Got some sell points and bits and bobs, and we got this here. So if we buy that for 0, might as well, doesn't cost anything, do that and that. We get a pig one pop up there. So there's a pig farm on the verges. We've also got plot 24 up there. We've got plot 15 just there. And we've got plot 33 just there, which we're going to purchase. When we do that and that, we get some extra icons come up, which I'll have a look at as we go around. Field prices are, oh no, this is an interesting one. Field prices are what you would probably expect for the size fields. Off camera, I bought up every single one that looks like a grass field, a pasture, in case any of them were animal pastures, and they weren't. We've got a big one up there, 1,183,000. But here's the warning. Field 72. I don't know what's under Field 72, whether there's an oil deposit, whether there's a gold mine, whether there's something under there. Watch when I press Field 72. 18,472,200. That's quite expensive. I don't think that's right. I think, again, there'll probably be an update. It might not be that. It might be intentional. I can't imagine what would be on it, under it. I mean, it looks like it's just a large pasture to me. So, let's have a look around the map. Or the farm, or well, all of it actually. So open the gates here. The texture, like I say, the textures, the lighting, it looks great. And there's great details scattered around the map, sort of old abandoned bits of equipment and stuff like that. It gives it a real nice immersive feel. The traffic is a little bit different here and there in places, which is nice. Switches, was that for the inside lighting or the outside? I think it was inside. But cows here, 50. And we do have some, let's say, custom things. Another thing I will say, and I've said this before on maps, when stuff gets used or ported over from other map makers, or people have said, oh yeah, you can use this, you can use that, I'm surprised a lot of the time that map makers don't change the names of things. For example, that is saying Court Farm Cows. And I think we've got Court Farm Chicken and stuff like that. And I think one of the sell points is off of the Court Farm map as well. And it surprised me that it wasn't changed Again, I'm not having a go at anyone, it's just that thing when you're doing a map tour. This is the sort of things you look out for. As we head down the yard, we do have 2 side clamps just there. As you can see, fair bit of equipment and machinery. We might as well talk about slot count as well. All 3 game modes, the slot count is 972. Now, all the buildings, animal pens and stuff, they are fixed in place. They cannot be removed. They're all fixed on here. You have got the option, of course, because you can buy the plots of land, you can add other things in, whether it's sell points, buildings, silos, whatever it might be. That's entirely up to you. If you remove all of the start machinery and equipment, I got the slot count down to 792 from 972. Interesting. Oh, the other thing I was going to talk about was the additional crop types. If we go down to our seeders, you'll see there that the seeders will do the linseed, rye, field bean and alfalfa can all be planted using a seeder. Under planters, we can do the field bean as well. So a field bean can be done with a seeder or a planter, but the others have to be done with a seeder. Taking out of the ground is done with regular header. So our rye, our field bean and linseed are all done with a regular header. Alfalfa is mowed and then can be baled, can be tedded, so you can get alfalfa hay. Actually, that's a good point. If I go into here, does it say, just says fill level chaff? Oh, sometimes when you've got alfalfa on a map, the silage clamps will allow alfalfa. I'll allow it. Will allow alfalfa in. Anyway, chickens just here, 50 of. If we come around the side, just here, feed trough and the spawn point for the eggs is just there. We come around here, we've got a silo. This is a standard crop type silo. It will take the additional crop types that are added onto this map, but it's not a multi-fruit silo. Light switches and stuff. And again, I love the detail of them. And here's the thing. And we've got a cultivator just there. Like I say, it's not really even a spoiler alert, because as we drive around, you're going to see these all over the place. All different colours. They're all worth 1,000. This is your reset point. So if you need to reset anything, it resets to the farm, not to the vehicle shop. So if you buy something from the vehicle shop, you can reset it directly to the farm to save you having to transport. You can simulate it being transported by the vehicle shop if you wanted to. What we are going to do is going to whiz out just to the main road. And like I always say, when I do map tours, it's that kind of warts and all thing. Let's say there's a few little bits here and there, bits of fence missing, like fence posts. There's a couple of bits you'll see as we go around, a couple of objects floating. This building we're going to go to now, we've got fully down stores. Just hop the fence. It's weird, it sounds like, it almost sound like a helicopter then. That was interesting. Got to watch out for the traffic because it's quite fast. Never cross road. Folly down stores is here. Now this building you can go in, but I think on Court Farm this is actually a production, isn't it? A bakery, if I recall. So you've got in here, this is what I'm saying, there's a couple of little bits here and there. So you've got the grass and stuff and the normal ground texture. So potentially a bit of a tweak. I mean, I guess that's all it's going to require. So this is your Folly down stores. Off the main road is where we get into the main farm. I just came out across the thing, but it works out quite nicely because we walk up. It's lovely. I love maps like this. And I said so many times before, map choice is, is personal, and it can either be that you want to play an area you know and love and what you're used to, or you go the other way and say, well, I know this already, I want to play somewhere I've never played before. There are no collisions on the hedges for vehicles. Often when there are no collisions for vehicles, there are for bales and things like that. Our sleep trigger is just here at the farmhouse, just there. There's no wardrobe trigger actually. Does the garage open? There wasn't a wardrobe trigger in the back. I love the sound effects. Sometimes they can be too loud, but it seems about right, I would say. Back into the yard. So this is out, in and out of the yards here, out into the main track. Come down the side here. We've got some more company machinery. So our seeder, baler wrapper. We do start with a fair bit of stuff, to be fair. Fuel, just here. 10,000 litres, can be filled. If we open this up, we've got a workshop trigger just inside the building here. So in there we've got a workshop trigger. Come alongside, we've got a harvester that we start with, header and header trailer, merge max, windrower, around the back tedder, and we are at the back of the yard. That's what I'm going to do now. We'll grab a tractor. Let's get around the map. Let's have a look, shall we? Now again, it's not necessarily, that's going to be everyone's cup of tea. And also, not everyone likes maps that have debris and clutter and stuff like that. Some people like to have the ability to remove it and that kind of stuff. I would say there's not so much of it around that you feel, oh, it's got to go, it's annoying me. There really isn't. But it's things like this. As you go towards the shed, all the ivy and stuff coming down from the side of the building. That level of detail, it's neat, it's tidy. You know, it looks right, it fits. When I say it's neat and tidy, I mean as in the application of it is neat and tidy. That was where I was going to go. Good start. Lost straight as I come out of the farm. I think it's one of those things we found when I did that live stream on 17, 19 and 22 talking about seasons. It was fascinating to see seeing the changes on similar maps, especially on 17 and 19. I went on a different map when I went on to 22, but the changes graphically and how the maps altered slightly and sell points, and obviously you've got all the features that come with 22 and that kind of stuff. It's interesting to see the differences. I mean, look at that. Is that not just a fantastic view? Well, I need to go somewhere in the UK where I've got that view, that kind of view. It's probably, I'd say maybe half hour from where I am, maybe an hour from where I am, I could probably get a view like. So there you go. For example, pretty sure that's not how that was parked. I mean, maybe it was, I don't know. Let's say, just a few little bits here and there. So, we go up here, and we've got this farm area, which we have already purchased. So this was plot, was it 24? So it was 24, yeah, plot 24. So we're up here. So we get the field, the pasture, we get the sheep, and we get the farmyard area. Now, there's nothing else in the farmyard area as far as silos or anything like that go, but we've got plenty of farm buildings. Again, these can't be removed, but you've got a lot of open space here, so if you want to put anything else in, you probably can. I can't remember what that's called. There's a name for that, the slatted thing. I can't remember what it is. Not Yorkshire boarding, is it? I can't remember what it's called now. Nice large building, and then around the side we've got a sheep pasture and barn for 200 sheep. There we go. Just there. Now I've had a sudden thought. I'm thinking back to the previous version of this. Was the farm called Court Farm on here originally? In which case it's the other way around, isn't it? No, I'm not saying, oh, she's nicked it, but maybe am I wrong? I don't know. I'd have to go on and check the previous version of this on 19. As I always say when I do map tours, I don't want to do the map makers modders a disservice. I don't want to say something that's incorrect or anything like that. And I guess everyone's fallible, and we make assumptions based upon what we know at this point. And that just suddenly, that thought struck me. I thought, well, what if it was called Court Farm originally? Can't remember. Anyway, we turn just behind the barn here. We've got the forested area just up here, so if you want to do a bit of forestry, there is some forestry available. Up in the woods. It's not dense woodland. There's a bit here if you want to do a little bit. So if we go back to the map, I think that's pretty much the only bit of woodland. Pretty sure it is. Well, there are a few trees here and there, but this is the woodland, and there's nothing to stop you, of course, buying a plot of land, placing trees, or buying a plot of land and planting a load of trees and allowing them to grow. So you can set up your own forests wherever you want. And I guess on maps it's up to you what you do. But as I said, there's plenty of space on these farms for putting other things in, whether it be sell points, productions, that kind of thing. So what we're going to do now is head down. Down south, taking the glorious countryside on the way. Be careful when we get to the bottom here, because we've got a main road. In there, turn there. So we're heading down towards that pig farm that was on the verges of the map, the additional. It's one thing I'm just always fascinates me whenever I'm on a map like this. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't like the English maps. I don't like the British maps with the tight lanes and hedgerows and walls and there's not enough room to move." And that's what it's like in the real world. As I was going down there in the tractor, I was just thinking the amount of times I've driven in various different vehicles in various different places in the country. You'll be going down a lane like this and you'll meet something like a tractor or a lorry or a bus or something coming the other way. You come around the bend and it's that kind of, you got to jam your brakes on and sort of just dive into the bushes really just to avoid it. It's not unrealistic, I'll say that. So coming to this area here, again barn and building space, and this didn't cost anything. This is on the additional. That little bit of grass there to the side is a little bit more expensive. I'd say more expensive. It's plot 44. You can buy that. It's not a pen, but and then if we go here, actually it's okay. Just realised that. Didn't notice that when I did my prep. But pigs here, 100 of. How did you stop them wandering? We didn't come across a cattle grid, did we? So that'd be pretty cool if you had pigs wandering around in the yard. So that's pigs. And it is that thing as well. I know the discussion's been had many times before. I know when oh blimey, why is my mind blanked? When Ravenport came out, and people were really annoyed about the amount of rubbish and rubble and stuff that was just all around the map. And they said, you know, places aren't like that. A lot of the UK maps, people say, I don't understand why the farmyards are always littered with rubbish, why there's stuff everywhere, why there's old abandoned bits of machinery. I'll be honest with you, some of the farmers I've met, some of the farmers I know, you know, some of the farmers I've had interactions with, no one likes to throw away anything because it could come in handy. It could be that one piece. You'll be doing something years down the line and think, oh, you know what, we've got that, whatever it is, out in the back. It's a bit rusted and a bit, but we can use this part off of it. You know, when stuff's expensive, people just don't get rid of anything, do they? I mean, there are farms that are immaculate, farm estates. Now, this is what I was talking about when I say about clunky here and there. There's a couple of bits on main roads. It's where you've got road plates join and you have a sharp edge. I'm not a big fan of the sharp edges, I'll be honest. And there's a couple on some of the main roads where it's very pronounced. I do like a bit of sort of smoothing out. Again, that's just my own personal opinion, but like I said, like I say, it is what it is. You can see these things. What I do like about this map as well is the little turns and the lanes, the little offshoots. We go across the main road just here. We've got a little turning, brings us down onto that road, which is nice. I like it when map makers remember things like that. There's nothing worse when you've got one road crosses another road and you've got no way of getting down to the other one without going halfway around the map. I find that frustrating, but that's a nice touch, that. So, heading south again. I'll show you on the map where we've been, where we are. So we're heading down towards the vehicle shop. There's no workshop trigger down at the vehicle shop. We do have a workshop at the main farm. But again, I know I did the map tour on Chapperdale the other day and people were commenting about it. I've said this before and I'm saying it now. There's that thing of stating the bleeding obvious. And I know I say it a lot, and I say various different things a lot. There are so many things available in the mod hub that if there are sell points missing, and often I will say that because I will judge a map on its base game value with no mods, no DLCs unless they're required mods. This is the map, this is what you get. Does it work within the parameters of what they've set out? If there are things missing, I will often point them out. So if there's a sell point that you've got a crop or something you can grow but there's no sell point for it, I'll mention it. But people often say, well, you can put a sell point in. I know you can. There are plenty of mods available. So when I said there's no workshop here, there are workshop triggers, there are all sorts of toolboxes and things like that you can place. So if you want to have a workshop here, You absolutely can, because this is part of the verges as well. Often you'll get some of these locations on maps where you can't buy the land, which means then putting in something like that you wouldn't be able to do, but on here you can. So even though it's not a workshop here, you can put one in if you want to. Now, as I'd already said, this is not the reset point. The reset point is back at the farm. Often the workshops and stores are. So your vehicle shop, store, John Deere dealership is just inside here. Then across the road we've got the sawmill and we've got the farmer's market. Now, that was something else actually I was looking for, just double checking prices and locations. Blimey, traffic's absolutely bonkers. And I couldn't find a price for wood, which you often get. So we have got just over here the sawmill, which you can purchase like so, and there's your wood in, making planks, wood chips as your byproduct. This is your farmer's market sell point just here, and then we've got the wood in with the sell point just there. So your sawmill is kind of split between here and here. There's your wood chip part there, but this is the farmer's market. Ask me how I know. Well, if you're not sure, as I often show, go to our prices. If we go down here, or actually it doesn't matter, we're right at the top, farmer's market and Folly Down stores. If I go across and it says tag place, there we go. There's your farmer's market right there in front of us. So I can walk up to it and that'll go away, or I can untag it from the menu if I want to. So that's your farmer's market, and then your sawmill is around it. If I go back into here and we scroll down, we'll get to wood chip. I think we get to wood chip just there. Sell point, farmer's market, Folly Down stores. But there's not a price for wood at all. I suppose because, if you didn't own the, if you don't own the sawmill, you can still bring wood here to sell it normally. Anyway, again, it's a minor thing, but I'm just trying to think now. I don't always check that on every map, so potentially there are other maps that don't. So, I've been good so far. I haven't pulled out on traffic, which I normally do. Ooh. Next turning is going to be to the right, and we're going to now head up the eastern side of the map. Where's the turn? A little bit further along, just over there somewhere, we've got the horse stable, little horse farm that we talked about and I showed earlier on the map. When we get there, I'll show you where we've been, just so. I personally like that when I watch map tours or when I'm looking at a map. It's trying to just get your head around what you're seeing on the ground and where that relates to on the map. It just helps you to understand the map a little bit better. It's no different to map reading when you're out and you've got a map and just orienting yourself nicely on the map to show where you are and what the landscape looks around you. Something I've always done, and I find it helps massively. So, just in here, there's your horses, 8 of, and like I say, this is part of the verges, the extra part of the map, so if you buy it for 0, you kind of get this bit of land with it as well. I didn't try to sell this actually, because this looks like a fairly standard one. Let's see if it will sell. Oh, well, okay, so you can sell the horse. So when I said all the animal pens, I take that back, just the ones at the farms. That one is a, well, when I actually came in, I thought it looks like a standard in-game one, so you could get rid of that if you wanted to. Now, when we get further up the map, there is oh, I'll talk about that later on when we get to the. Again, every junction, every turning, every time you come over a brow of a hill, you look at it and you think, wow. Oh, I do anyway. Look at the countryside. Oh, look at that. So I'm looking for in a little while a turning on the right, I think. So it's a very small turning. I hope I don't miss it. All these little bits, like little old derelict houses and the van out the front, and just little touches. I think it's just past this one, if I recall. Oh. Turn back on ourselves. Yeah, here we go, just here. So we're heading up to the northeast of the map now. This is where, was it plot 33? I'm trying to think of, there was only 3 plots on this one, yeah, 3 or 4 we had to buy over and above. There's a couple of hills, I'm going to say this as well now, when we head up towards the biogas plant later on. If you're towing a trailer, you're going to slow down a bit. There's some steep hills, but I love it. And again, just come along the lane, wherever you are, just turn, look out across the countryside. Wow. That's why I love having the van that we own, because you sit a little bit higher. So when you are driving around, you can look out across the countryside, especially when you're on motorways and stuff like that. There's nothing worse than being low down and you're not being able to see what's out there, you know. I love that, being able to just look around at what's going on. Anyway, turn in here. So you do get all of this. Buildings and barns. Chickens here, 50. So, on the map, I didn't show when I was at the horse thing. So we started at the main farm just here. We went just out of the main farm, and then we went up this lane, followed this lane up here, until we got to this one here, plot 24. Went from plot 24 just out there, just into the woodland a little bit. Then we came back out. If you buy that woodland, because it looks like anywhere on the map where it looks like there might be something, off camera I will buy stuff and have a look just to double check. It is just the woodland that's there. We then came down this lane, across, and then followed this one out, all the way down to here, till we got to the pigs. From the pigs went back to this lane, followed this lane along, past the houses there, over the bridge, and then down this little track, which ports all the way down here, to the vehicle shop, sawmill, farmer's market, back along to this turning here, followed this turning out to the horses, then from there out to this turning here, just back on ourselves, just past the house that was there on the corner. Again, that's all part of the verges. I haven't missed anything as far as sell points and things go. But again, because you can buy the verges, you can get these little plots. If you can fit little sell points, or whatever it might be a fuel point, it might be a gas pump, it might, whatever you want to put, you can add some bits and bobs in around the map. So we're here at plot 33. So you get the field 17, plus you get the little farm here. Then just north of that, and I remember when I did the map tour before, this was all open expanse. It had trees all around it. And I managed to get through the trees. I think it's a little bit trickier this time round. But from here, we're just going to go around to the animal dealer. There's animal dealer and the animal dealer sell point, which is actually Tall Trees Bales, I think it's called. Whoa, blimey. Got a bit out of shape there. So there's your animal dealer sell point, and then your Tall Trees Bales is just through there. And again, it was here I think I noticed a couple of bits. It was very obvious when I turned the corner here. I thought, well, that's a bit. My brain automatically thought that looks a bit sharp, and then realised the end's missing off there, and there's a couple of ends missing here and there on fences. A few bits and bobs like that, and then obviously we've got the sound effects of auctions and selling and that kind of stuff going on. I don't know. You have to be careful because you never know whether that's been. It should be okay, but you don't know with regard to copyright and that kind of stuff, so it's always better you talk over these things. But there are sound effects of people. And then what we're going to do now is head back down where we just came, back to the main road. I will see you down there in a moment, and then we're going to head on up towards the biogas plant. The plot of land that was plot 15 the biogas plant was on, I think was only 46 grand, which gets you the biogas plant, which is quite handy, not too expensive. 500 kilowatt. So almost out at the junction. Don't know if there's any traffic that comes on here. Don't we passed anything yet? I don't think we have. On our left coming up, there's a little campground. Again, the land is, you can buy it. It's owned on the verges. So again, if you wanted to put like a campground sell point or a production, I think we can open the gate. We'll double check that unless the gate's already open. There's this little manor house. I think it's open anyway. Yeah, there we go, look. There's some caravans and stuff on there, tents as well, so you could probably get away with something on there if you wanted to. Now we take our drive up. That's on the verges as well, so again, whatever you fancy. So what we at the moment, 33 miles an hour. It does get quite steep here. Reminds me of that steep hill up to the little airport on Sussex Farms. That was insanely steep. We're gaining some elevation. Plenty of oomph in the New Holland, we're alright. Okay, so coming up on the left, we've got the dairy. Now, so I started to say earlier on, the dairy you start with on all 3 game modes, so you own it already. So you don't need to purchase it. It's on the land up here anyway, but you do start with it on all 3 game modes. So just up here, we've got the dairy. So standard dairy, that's there. And then just over there we go. We've got Pine Creek Bales, I think it is. Pine Creek Bales just there. And as we come round here, because we've already purchased this plot of land, I'll show where we are. So from there we came all the way back down to here, up past the little campground there, all up the hill. Dairy, Pine Creek Bales. This plot here, plot 15, was 46,104, and that gets us a 500 kilowatt biogas plant. Standard products in with digestate out, like so. If we come across here and just hop up onto the fence, please be careful whilst doing such things. That's the map. That's Grasslands 22 by Steve's Mods. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do, don't forget the end sequence of what you're supposed to be saying. And thanks for watching.